Welcome to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast, where we provide constant improvement to businesses through timely, actionable financial solutions. Do you want answers to your financial questions? Email us at bsp@kaizencpas.com. I'm your host, Mark Valesky. Now let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Kaizen Time. I'm joined by my partner here, Eric Jorn. How you doing, Eric?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Partner. And speaking of partners, we're talking about strategic partners within a business. So first, what is a strategic partner?
Yeah. Wow. A strategic partner, right? Is that one of those corporate lingo terms that people throw around that nobody really truly understands what it means?
It almost sounds like it's a planned marriage, right? Like in the old medieval times when people get married or be arranged, that is a strategic partner to create peace.
That is.
But this isn't too far off, right?
I don't know if I do not want to bundle these two situations.
We are completely separate. We are not in the early ages or the dark ages. Sorry.
Yep. So strategic partnerships, they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes.
Okay.
So when I think about a strategic partner you're a business, and if you try to be the lone wolf in your business, in your industry, it's going to be very hard to scale and grow and become very successful.
Oh, so that's why when we talked about scalability and you were saying doing it by yourself, not scalable,
not super scalable.
That makes a lot of sense all of a sudden. Okay.
So we'll talk about strategic partners from maybe a service standpoint, and maybe strategic partners from a business growth acquisition standpoint.
Okay.
So we'll start from an operational standpoint. So strategic partners from an operations are, I'll go back to our business model. So we're providing we're effectively a financial partner for our clients. Mm-hmm. Now our clients will be we'll have conversations with our client, and they will bring up a legal situation or maybe an insurance risk management type situation. And we're really probably not the best person to answer that question. Well, I could say, hey, go talk to an attorney. Or I could say, hey, go talk to an insurance person.
That would be the right answer, right?
Very easy answer to say, but because we want to provide a next level of service, we ask, do you have a current relationship with an attorney that you feel comfortable asking this question? If the answer is no, we now have some strategic partnerships in place with different vendors, say attorneys or insurance agencies or whatever it may, software companies, all sorts of different vendors, to do exactly this, right? Hey, I have a situation. Hey, let me match you up with an expert in that industry or in that space to make sure you get the best answer possible.
And especially people that you've already worked with. Correct. They are strategic partners then.
Yep.
And you feel comfortable with their work, and you feel comfortable that the clients you work with will be satisfied.
Exactly. So then now let's take a look at let's use an auto repair shop, right? Okay. They might have a strategic partnership with, they might have it with the village, right? And they might offer safety inspections on X day throughout a year, right? And they've built a relationship. They're the shop. They're that go-to. Or maybe they service all the vehicles, and then the village also then refers those vehicles back to their shop. Okay. Now that's more of the growth side of it. But we'll look at maybe a software vendor, right? And we'll talk about, maybe you have a POS system that integrates with another analysis product, and these two softwares have a good relationship and they're talking to each other. Well, those are strategic partnerships between those two servicers. So it's a related service. It's something that's going to be within your realm, right? So when we're looking for strategic partners, we're looking at who else services my customer, who else is in that realm that may come up, and how we work with them. And can we build a relationship? Hey, we're both trying to make sure that this business owner is successful and wins. Mm-hmm. How do we work together to give them a better product than working in our own silos?
Okay, that makes sense. So in reality, it's you guys basically shaking hands and saying, let's find a way to service people together.
Yep.
You're not necessarily officially on paper partners, right?
No, not always. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it isn't.
It is. So we were talking about what kind of shapes these partners come in. So it looks like there's one like just on the sales kind of end, or just generally being able to assist each other. And then on the manufacturing end, there's probably one as well, right?
Yep. So you might have strategic partnerships in the manufacturing realm, totally different world, but you might be looking for, say, somebody in the distribution realm, right? So there might be somebody that matches up distributors with manufacturers. Well, the better relationship, right? You have a good relationship with that person, more than likely you're going to get the more direct answer than if you just cold call one and say, "Hey, I need somebody to distribute my product." Well, that doesn't really work out. Or maybe you have another, this is where maybe some trade associations come in, or some industry groups that you could be involved in, where maybe you have a relationship with it could even be what might be looked at as a competitor, right? But you have a really good relationship, and maybe there's some things that they do really well that you don't do well, and vice versa. And you guys can refer that work that's in each other's opposite quadrants, so you both are more successful at the end. So maybe what was once your competitor is now your friend in a way.
So, because I know we've talked about your upper left and your lower right. Yeah. This is one of those situations where, hey, we're not directly competing. Let's see how we can help each other out.
Yep.
How do you find these strategic partners? Yeah. Obviously, they're not just growing all over the place.
Yeah, so this is where it's really important to have somebody that thinks and cares a lot about this and has that kind of forward-looking and strategic view. So generally, you're going to find them at conferences and trade shows, like local meetings, chapter meeting, or Chamber of Commerce meetings, BNI groups. If you want to find relationships, especially there's always a lot of financial advisors, attorneys, et cetera, in those BNI type groups, and where you can start building some of those relationships. Or the Chamber of Commerce, right? The Chamber of Commerce itself, the more involved you are, you're effectively building a strategic relationship with them.
Makes sense.
If that's a good vehicle to drive business to your business.
So one thing that I've noticed when you were saying this, it's not really just emailing people.
Yeah, cold email is great, right? It works so well.
It can. Like I've personally done it myself, where I've reached out to people. But an example, I'll work with a venue and I'll have footage for them. So a follow up, I just provide it to them, and I ask that they just put my information, give me credit. And in the future, I say, if you want me to continue doing this, just refer me, and I can get you more of this. Yep. And that's a strategic partnership, and it has worked very well.
Yeah.
So in many ways, it's being in a place that people want to connect. Most people nowadays online don't want to connect. Am I right on that?
Yeah.
People just are there to post pictures online or whatever they want to do. But there are these places, they can be locally or industry wide, that they can find them. Any other locations that kind of are less well known?
Well, yeah, Mark, I know you'd advocate for Reddit, right? I
advocate for it every day of my life.
You might see somebody who's very actively involved in whatever community, right? It could be a Reddit-based community, Facebook group-based community, in person, whatever it may be. Like, there's all these different channels in which you can go and connect with other people and see who's putting the time, energy, and effort to.
I guess that's going to make me backtrack on social media. There are places online. In like, for example, Facebook, a closed group that is their specific location. That is a very good opportunity. Yes. Okay. Anything else you want to cover about strategic partners?
Yeah. You talked about how you would send footage to the venues, and so that goes into, right, we create a partnership, right? We're happy. We like each other. We think we can provide a better product to our combined unit customer. But now we think about, okay, how do I make sure that we stay connected and we continue this strong bond? Well, there's a few things that I think are very effective in doing so. So creating some shared content. So shared content could be, hey, together we'll come together and produce something together. Or maybe, hey, here's a topic that I'm going to talk about or write about. Here, strategic partner, you should distribute this out to your client base. Mm-hmm. And the key with this is consistency. With anything, right, is consistency. Mm-hmm. So if I have a group of strategic partners that I'm working with, right, now I might have a content calendar for my customer base, but I should also have a content calendar for my strategic partners to ensure that I'm continuing to provide value to my partnership and that we're also getting our touch points, right? So we might be able to do some shared content with them on X cadence, but we should also just have a check-in every so often, right? Maybe it's a phone call, Zoom call, grabbing lunch or dinner, whatever it may be, wherever you can connect. Maybe it's at a conference. I know when I go to conferences, I spend more time actually going and talking to my strategic partner relationships than I actually do trying to go find new business, because
I can confirm this. I was there.
It's an opportunity for us to spend a lot of time together.
You get that FaceTime
in person. Exactly.
And actually, Eric, I feel like this is really accurate. So maintaining a strategic relationship is really just is the same as a normal relationship, right?
Sure.
Because there is that once the relationship is created, it has to be maintained.
Yep.
And it doesn't require a ton. I like to say that you don't water your flowers once a year, right? A whole lot.
Yep.
You water them a little bit all the time,
mm-hmm.
right? So these relationships are the same way. You find them, right? If it's a good fit, it's created, and then it's maintained a little bit as it goes. Perfect.
100%.
Anything else you want to go into about strategic partnership?
I think there's a handful of really good nuggets for our listeners to think about.
Yeah, there's a lot to it, but the key really is finding them and then maintaining them.
Exactly.
Perfect. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast. If you like what you heard, subscribe and leave a 5-star review. This podcast has been brought to you by Kaizen CPAs Plus Advisors, providing advisory and accounting services to help you grow your business. Learn more at kaizencpas.com or email us at bsb@kaizencpas.com.